Well, we're shooting here, okay? I mean, that was a... You can see right here. Probably looks better with my sunglasses on. Yeah. Yeah, just... And see, kids, where we get kind of riled up. Hey, this goes great with my kind of... I never really wanted to go big on this whole go get a job you don't like, go do shit that sucks all the time, And if you do it long enough, you just get in this rhythm, and then all of a sudden you can be the fucking badass who grunts all the fucking time because he's so fucking American heartland out. Those or something that I didn't run into in the dark. There's some places up here where you could see, you die obviously, or you could debate on that. Luck to be had there, but there are more and more people coming out here nowadays, and I just kind of feel like we're looking at some terrain here. We said up ahead it's a little worse. Where if you got this a fucking metropolitan city, we're like, what the fuck are you doing? You gotta build a fence, Well, I don't think that would have necessarily been heard of out here before. I'm sure somebody had to take a dive at one point. I saw some chick had to be cool and get the stick only long enough to reach so she could stretch out over the fucking cliff. It freaked me out, I was the oldest person there, so fuck. Yeah, it's just shit like that. You can see it coming. But then when it happens, this is the thing where we could have a special one day. With this guy fucking, there's the reenactment. I don't know if they even have to announce that anymore. I just saw a video the other day about the weddings, and I swear, and that for a second starts to look like the reenactment. It is just crazy the way life just kind of fucking pours up out of the ground. Just like, and then all these forms and just falls over and shit. And then you do come along with a fairly kind of it's more and more kids. There are things we may or may not have held for granted from before. Alrighty. I don't want to get out on the road. Hey, buddy, come here. Hey, let's go over here. Yeah, you don't want to go out in that street. Yeah. All right, I'm leaving. You want to smell? Make sure I'm cool.
He won't hurt a fly.
Okay, well, like I say, I don't want him chasing me down the street. I didn't mean to pop out of the woods on him. Hey.
Come on, Charlie. Come on. Come on.
Because this guy's alright. But like I said, think about it. You were an animal at one time. Couldn't necessarily talk to each other. Just bad shit happening all the time. And a lot of, all of you have been sick. Some of you probably remember sick better than I do, fevers and shit like that. Well, that's not a good way to feel. And people were probably running around with all kinds of fucking infections and, you know, in some circumstances, most all of which came from a wound. Look at all that shit over there. Magazine, a periodical came apart there. Came one with the leaves. I tweeted it earlier. See it down there somewhere, maybe in the new virtual net. Just go in and go. Makes sense because it's there. You can't fucking touch it. Anyways. What else I'm saying? You shouldn't have 2 days for a fucking weekend anymore. I know it's getting spread out kind of. Where you got a part-time job and another part-time job and everything. You don't have a day off. What do you think you are? A fucking mothered monkey who thought ahead 2 generations? Bought some fucking stock and then just somehow didn't come out with 6 fucking kids. It's silly. Every problem is ours, right? We can't necessarily speak from a... Like I say, if you step back far enough, it almost looks like you just gave a mammal something that makes it stay alive, and, you know? And then you start giving it all this credit and shit, too, where it can just lean in all kinds of different nowheres. You know, towns all over the place where who the fuck wants to be there? Why isn't anybody thinking ahead? You know? Certainly some of the more extreme cases where you've got 4th generation coming into Louisiana so they can fucking die on a porch every goddamn summer. Well, the one action that can make a fucking difference, you know? Tell me that's not the most profound aspect to accentuate the rest of your fucking little spook parade going on. I'm not talking about black, I'm talking about people in general. Just, it's silly. If, again, in this time where if we step back far enough, it's like we're all just kind of a bunch of fucking tadpoles running around, you know? They say, you know, people never grow up, they're always kids, you know? Well, look at what they're born into. Yeah, you get thrown straight into a fucking pinball machine where it's like, and that's one thing. If it's just what's going on out here, I'm not saying that's great, but who can fucking argue with that and the desire to get out of it? Well, like I say, there are ways to organize people. You know, I haven't even really thought enough about this money thing. I understand it's a way to kind of not have to carry as much shit at one point, back and forth or something, you know, sort of a placeholder, but like I said, I'm not saying it all has to come tumbling down. As a matter of fact, I'm saying you're grown in as part of its scales or its, you know, whiskers or whatever. It just needs to be identified because, like I say, everybody is a businessman here. Other places, there's different stuff going on, but I think for the most part, once they get a little nip of it, they're pretty much all businessmen, you know? And we sort of look at a lot of stuff that goes on in other places where people have control sort of over other people just by sheer the place sucks and they've got a little bit of an edge on some kind of stability in their fucking community. And they can really start to throw some wild shit out there. Well, we kind of take for granted that we're all past that a little bit, where, you know, we're all business. We don't mess around with these spooky witch doctors and essences and when in essence, I mean, it really is one of the kind of blander ways to breed an animal. And I can't imagine that the people who are at the top of this, I mean, just speaking in pretty blunt terms, you know, who's at the top of these corporations, are they thinking? You know, because we know the fucking lower downs, they're just like little fucking Boy Scouts, you know, nip, 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 Boy Scouts and the Shriners and shit like that, you know, where they're just kind of like, give me what I need, you know. Well, which, by the way, kids, is another sign that you're under some kind of weird circumstances, and you can't say that. You have to take a lot of what people would, you know, they call you selfish. They start speaking as an animal, saying, "I don't want a fucking job." You know what? I've had a look at this, and I've come to understand that the only reason a lot of these jobs even exist is because there are too many of you fucking people, and you are just letting your mom fucking spit them out anywhere. You know how many kids are born a year under women who, if they had went and applied for adoption, they'd say, "Get the fuck out of here. Are you kidding me? Stop wasting our air conditioning, bitch. Get the fuck out of here." And it gets really ridiculous. I mean, it's really simple. It's really just something nobody's ever brought up, I think. Well, I'm not saying nobody ever brought it up. I mean, I'm saying, how directly are they addressing that as a problem? Because, heck, kids, if we go back far enough, it's possible, in a weird way, like mistreatment of women in the Middle East, you know, which we can't deny is there are nerve endings involved there, and hormones and adrenalines and just fears and pain. That's not cool. That's not something anybody fucking wants. And regardless of what you think you've got to fucking do in the meantime, you should be thinking past and see, let's how do we get past this? Wow. What if they, you know, in a roundabout way, kind of feel like, bitch, you keep throwing down another motherfucker to take my fucking kingship or whatever, you know? And they sort of just in a weird way throw them down that way. And treat them like little breeder bitches, you know? I don't know. I just haven't. What kind of effectivity has that had on the population and the situation at large, you know, if that's the case? But then again, how many motions do you go through for a reason that is for a mammal that's been here spinning along like a fucking zombie with whatever you throw on top of it? Well, the thing is, kids, it should be coming off, and nobody wants to talk about. I mean, you say anything about population control, nobody fucking gets it. Like, I don't know that I get it, but I know they sure as hell ain't trying to fucking hear it. As the saying goes. And it sucks to think that those ideals, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about slaughtering people and shit. Although, if you wanted to make it make sense a lot quicker, you sure as hell get rid of a lot of people real fast from the equation. Yeah? Like I say, Wouldn't we just love to throw those people into some sort of vacuum state where they are no longer, you know, at flux with the situation as it is? But it was Poppy Slaw, Venetians.